We are back, everyone. We didn't go anywhere. We're right here for you. It's Orange and Blue today, presented by Champ Honda, Cecil Lammey, Andrew Mason, and a Denver Broncos practice that, felt a little lean, a little thin. What was the word that Sean Payton used today, Mace? Wasn't it like, we're a little soft today? I don't know if it was soft. Football players don't like when you say soft, but it was something different than what we've been used to.
Lighter.
Lighter.
The word
yes.
was lighter.
Light and sweet, baby. Why didn't I remember that?
He said a little bit of a lighter practice back in pads tomorrow. The funny thing about that practice is that the lighter practice in the Sean Payton training camp is heavier than a lot of the heavier practices of Nathaniel Hackett's training camp last year. So, new era.
Yeah, new era. We're going in a new direction, and it is with Sean Payton, and it is with, some Russell Wilson conversation. I suppose we'll just get into it right now because everyone wants to know, and the chat room's already lighting up about it. So, if you were to vote, and we have a Russell-meter, it's brought to you by Phil Longford. Was Russ great, just okay, or not good today in your eyes? One, Andrew Mason.
Just okay.
Just okay. Okay. Russell-meter today, August 3rd. Just okay for Russell Wilson. Again, that's brought to you by Phil Longford.
I hate having to vote on this stuff. I really do.
Yeah,
I'm
because
sorry. I'm not a fan of, right. I'm not a fan of, even though we've all done it, I'm not a fan of training camp scorecard keeping.
Right.
Yeah, we had to do it in the past with quarterback competitions. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. So
yeah, because to me, it's a compound of everything. And once we get to the regular season, we're going to know there's your grade. Yeah. What's your win-loss record, right? Yeah. What's your completion percentage? There's your grade right now. Like, I hate to sound like the facts of life, but you take the good, you take the bad.
You take them all,
both,
and there you
have the facts of life.
I thought you were going to close the facts of camp. That's
well, isn't that the truth? Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. Everyone's wanting to know, was Russ terrible? And here's the thing. Sean Payton said exactly what I said yesterday on something. I can't remember what. I've been on. You and I have both been marathon running as far as broadcasting goes. But here's the thing. They aren't running the ball. Speaking of running. And I said this yesterday. I said, we're not even seeing the complete offense. They're not running the ball because there's no live tackling. You can't really run. And they're trying out some things. They're seeing what works, what doesn't work. When they can run the ball, i.e. the regular season or at least the preseason, I think we're going to see a more sedate Russell Wilson. That's my opinion, Mace. What do you and Coach backed that up today. He said, yeah, we're not running. We're just kind of – he seems to be happy, at least what he says. No side eye, no little side shots. You know how Sean Payton is. If he didn't like it, he'd probably throw in a little zinger or something for you.
I mean, at the same time, he's trying to build the confidence of Russell Wilson. And that doesn't mean you can't be concerned about some things. I mean, if I have one concern from the week so far, it's that I do feel like even though the coverage is tight, I feel like he is lingering in the pocket too long, right? I always
holding on the ball too long.
I always like to quote Rush from Free Will. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. And there's been a little too much of that. I want him to get to the point where if nothing is there, he's making that decision to take off and scramble a little bit more quickly. And we saw that once yesterday when they did a red zone period at the practice. So I know that's in Russell Wilson. I just want to see more of that. Now, against the second team defense, you're not going against the same quality of coverage. I feel like Jarrett Stidham has made some decisive scrambles so far in camp. I want to see more of that from Russell Wilson. If it's not there, don't wait. It's like when he's waiting back there and he's waiting in the pocket rather than moving, it's a flashback to last year. Maybe to quote Yoda, part of this is that Russell Wilson must unlearn what he has learned. And in particular, he must unlearn some bad habits that came into play with trying to run that Frankenstein's monster of an offense that was the Broncos last year.
Right. And that amalgamation of just do whatever you want, Russ, like it's developed bad habits. He's developed habits that he didn't have in Seattle. Now, did he hold on to the ball too long and some of the sacks were his fault in Seattle? Yes, all these things are true. But I'm seeing some things in terms of his hitches and his footwork that doesn't match what a veteran quarterback should be. There are times when he makes these throws and his feet aren't even pointed towards the receiver. So he's not hitching correctly. And he's kind of a little almost flat-footed, which is odd that Russell Wilson would be that way.
It's odd, but again, it's kind of part and parcel with where things stand and where he stands right now. So it's whether it's odd or not, you got to fix it. So that's the only way out. That's the only way out of this.
Well, and the great thing about this game, Mace, is it's a results-based business. Like you get it done and someone else going to get it done.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line. That's
get him good or get him gone. I think that's what Tom Donahoe, the old Steelers and Bills GM, used to say. Get him good or get him gone.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Orange and blue today.
That was in regard to younger players, though.
Yes.
Russ is a 12-year veteran, and then that's where it becomes, okay, can he get this right? Can he remedy this after all that he's learned to date? And we'll that's what we're waiting. That's what we're waiting to find out. We're gonna see. But right now, when he stays in, like we've all seen it. Like he just, sometimes I'm watching practice and I'll think to myself, "Come on, dude, move, go,
move, go."
Sometimes, yeah. And I think the coaches are thinking that too. Sometimes when they see it, they get him going.
Yep, get it going, Russell Wilson. Now, for those of you wondering, why aren't you saying anything about today's practice? We can't. Unless coach talked about it.
It's like OTAs and minicamp. So, I mean, unless there's something specifically alluded to, I mean, we can talk about what they did. Like I asked about the field goal period at the end of practice, and he talked about how it was a field goal rush period. So they'll get into more pressure types of situations as camp goes on. However, I did feel like there was some pressure there. And it's interesting when you watch a competition between two kickers. Sometimes it reaches a point where if you've watched a major soccer tournament and it goes to penalty kicks and one will miss and the other will hit and there'll be an advantage. And then maybe the next round, it'll kind of go right back a little bit. It's man, it was, I'll just say the kicking period of practice I thought was the most telling that we saw today.
Yes, it was very telling. I suppose in code, Drew Lock might have thrown a couple of touchdowns in the red zone today. So we'll figure that out. And well, listen, we got plenty to say without telling you what happened at practice. And again, it was a lighter day. I remembered at that time, Mace, orange and blue today.
I was thinking Case Keenum might have thrown some touchdowns in the red zone today. I'd say
Case Keenum had probably the best pass of the day.
Okay, yeah. The question, we got snaps in the red zone for Jay Cutler, Case Keenum, and Drew Lock.
Oh boy, there you go.
And again, Drew Lock had the toughest go of it going against a defense that had a couple of all pros in the secondary. And I think that's another thing that kind of jumps out. And this is not just today, but over camp, is how good this secondary is. And seen in the red zone yesterday and today, how tough it is for receivers to get open against that number one secondary. That is something that I think is worth noting. The question is it mostly the secondary being good or the receivers? I'd say it's mostly the secondary being good.
Yes.
Rather than the quality of the receivers there.
Yes, very much so. We've got some comments from Jerry Judy coming up on one Taylor Grimes, but this morning starts with disappointment because you and I have mentioned it. Like, we love Jonas Griffith. And now ACL done for the year. And it's just, they're fine at inside linebacker. We'll talk about how this could lead to Justin Sternod making the team. But man, it sucks for Jonas. I feel for that guy, man, because he's a good player. who deserved a little more of a spotlight.
Yep. And Sean Payton talked about it this morning.
Mm-hmm. Sean Payton talked about what they're going to do to make up for it.
Look, we're on them with tempo constantly. It almost sounds like a broken record, and we want to make it harder here than it is in the game. Now, that being said, there's installation that's new. There's motions, there's shifts. Sometimes there's a happy medium there relative to, making sure they know what to do before the play snap. So we had a couple MEs, but that's not going to change. Our emphasis on in and out, on up and down and on and off is something that we think is important.
When you do a kicking drill, are there some methods to try to kind of increase the stress on the kicker? I heard some guys yelling as the guys were kicking there.
Yeah, there'll be those times. I mean, look, that was a field goal PAT and field goal block drill. There'll be times where we'll send them out there. 2 minute goes in tomorrow, so game winner. We'll create some more competitive periods. This is really more for the timing and then just seeing how they strike the ball.
Okay, there's Sean Payton talking about
my
stuff.
bad. I thought I'd sent you the Jonas Griffith clip in there.
Oh, yeah. No worries, baby. No worries. But I love what he said. We want to make it more difficult out here than it is on game day. Like, they're using tempo, and this is where your inside linebackers, this is where the defense has to be on alert because they're trying to use tempo as a weapon at times during practice.
Yeah, and actually, honestly, I kind of noticed it today how quick it was because the way I noticed it is I'll be in my notebook and I'll look up and they're they're going to the line of scrimmage for the next snap, and I haven't finished my notes from the previous snap, right? So that's one way you kind of see just how much they're getting done. I mean, practice overall, and today was no exception, seems like a more efficient process. Right. Certainly more efficient than it was in the Vic Fangio years. I felt like in those 3 years of Vic Fangio, sometimes they'd be on the field for 3 hours. And I felt like it was just for the sake of being on the field for 3 hours. I don't know. There was a lot gained from that, though. Those practices seem to just drag. These practices seem to be crisper. Honestly, it feels like once you've once you've had a couple of team periods, it's almost like that you're pretty much done. Sometimes it's just zipping right along, as the late Ernie Johnson used to say.
A lot of coachable moments, a lot of teaching. Honestly, it reminds me a little bit of Shanahan, where it's like you're going to get through practice, you're going to work, you're going to sweat, you're going to grind, and you're going to learn. And so there's a lot of teaching out there from Sean Payton. I like what he said about tempo and how they want to make this tough on him. Like, it's training camp. It's not training glamp anymore.
It was last year.
Yeah, that's right. He is. Edward says he's figuring out who is cerebral, versatile, and athletic from those who aren't. I think Payton this year is finding out who his guys are.
I think it's a year-long process, and that is very reminiscent of Bill Belichick's first year in New England. That was a year of sorting out and sifting through the roster and seeing who was in and who was out. The result that year was 5-11. Sean Payton obviously had a lot more success his first season with New Orleans going 10-6. But I would also caution to note that a lot of things went right for the Saints, and also the Saints were a significant ascension to the mean candidate. They'd gone 3-13 the year before, losing a bunch of close games. And of course, they had all the after effects of Hurricane Katrina. Talent-wise, based on the previous years before that, and then even the 2 seasons that followed the Saints going 10-6 and 06, the reality was that team was probably about a 7-9 or 8-8 type team. In 05, everything goes against them. In 06, Sean Payton's first year, they get Drew Brees. That helps, but a lot of things went in their favor, including everybody else in the division regressing. So that team, what I'm saying is that first Sean Payton team, for anyone expecting, it's going to be a huge turnaround like it was in New Orleans, that team had to have a lot of things go right that were beyond their control. The 2 years that followed were 7-9 and 8-8, and were really more reflective of where that Saints roster and that Saints team was. Right. And I don't know if the Broncos are going to get that same kind of benefit and helpful scenario this year, which is why I do think that ultimately, despite the public pronouncements of Sean Payton, I think this team is more likely than not going to miss the playoffs again.
Yeah, and then there will be changes. They miss the playoffs, there'll be changes, and it'll be 3. It'll be Russell Wilson that makes those changes. So you and I were chatting during practice. Hey, Justin Sternad, you have an opportunity now, and with his special teams ability, with the injury to Jonas Griffith, like this does, and it's a cold business, but it opens the door for others. And Sternad's been a guy who's been working hard to just not even just redeem himself, just stay healthy and keep making this team.
Yeah, if he's healthy, I think it's pretty close to Sharpie on the 53 coming out of training camp for Sternad being there. Part of it is just because he's the next guy up. Part of it is also, you look, again, I always say, look closely at the players who are working with the ones on special teams, and you see Sternad doing a lot of that. So because of that, I think he is in good shape. Drew Sanders, of course, is a lock. He was a lock. He is a lock. What this now means for Sanders, though, is if there's an injury to either Jewell or Singleton, and we know Josie Jewell has had some time missed to injury over the last couple of years, basically now Drew Sanders is one play away from being a starter on this team, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately he'll rise to the occasion if that's what happens, but there are clubs that he needs to add to his bag in terms of what he is as a linebacker. And I think like the coverage club to his bag is probably going to be the last one that becomes reliable as Drew Sanders develops. He's reading the runs well, and he's rushing the passer well.
Right. And that's what he does. The nice thing, and in coverage, when he picked off Ben DiNucci in rookie minicamp that we couldn't talk about until now, I guess maybe we still can't talk. What happens?
Wait.
We can't talk about stuff. Can we not talk about it?
No, but Sean Payton talked about it right after practice. It was good.
Oh, okay. Day. Yeah, but I don't think he mentioned who it was. But here's the thing. When it's in front of him, he can cover that. So if it's a back out of the backfield, he can cover that. It's just turning. We saw him against Taylor Grimes in practice, not today, because we can't say anything. But we saw him, I believe it was yesterday, correct me if I'm wrong, against Taylor Grimes. It was just like, it was easy. That was easy completion.
Well, I mean, there's not a good linebacker on Taylor Grimes matchup for the linebacker anyway. But, yeah, that was
maybe bad. Micah Parsons, maybe. And to get that, we're talking about an undrafted kid from Incarnate Word.
Right, but an undrafted kid who's playing really well. And I did ask Jerry Jeudy today about how Taylor Grimes has done so far.
Yeah, Taylor Grimes, he real smooth, you know. He got great speed. You know, he run great routes, got great hands. I see him make a great grab yesterday in practice, you know, and he just been consistently doing it and consistently making plays. You know, he got a bright future.
I think the consistency word is the most important thing Jerry Jeudy said there.
Well, now that they've gone into one-on-ones, we're seeing it from Taylor Grimes every day. We're seeing those ankle-breaking moves happening. Okay, yeah, I guess we can't say what we saw, but so I'm not going to say who it's against and all that. But let's just say what we saw from Taylor Grimes the last 2 days, we saw again today.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it.
You're stacking days. And when you're doing it day after day, over and over again, and this is what Sean Payton is talking about when he refers to kind of the broader narrative of training camp and, you know, letting things play out. When you start seeing it over and over, it's like Jaleel McLaughlin. You see him doing the same good things over and over. It's going to lead to longer looks, more reps. And we're seeing it out there with Taylor Grimes right now. So I'm fascinated to see if he doesn't work his way up a little bit in terms of how they're rotating the receivers as we get into next week. Now, we got a couple more days left in this week, so there's time for the narrative to turn against the young number 13 from Incarnate Word. By the way, what is the nickname of Incarnate Word?
Don't know.
Cardinals.
Okay.
Well, appropriate. It's Incarnate Word, Catholic, you know, College of Cardinals, all that, right?
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what Taylor Grimes is? He's hot. It's our Who's Hot, brought to you by Phil Long. So, yeah, Taylor Grimes is hot. He is the man, and they're not going to be able to sneak him through to the practice squad.
Well, okay.
He's gonna do this in the preseason. You
If
know
does
he
this
is.
in the games, yes,
And
but
he's going to have a 100-yard game in a preseason on 3 catches with a touchdown. And fantasy Twitter's going to go nuts. And dynasty Twitter's going to go nuts. And I don't think they can sneak him through, dude.
here's the thing, though. If he's just fine in preseason games, if they
You can.
hold him back a little bit, you can, because the one thing that almost every team in the NFL has at this time of year is a young, under the radar receiver that they like. I mean, we've been
Yes.
talking about these guys for years. I mean, remember
Yes.
Trinity Benson, right?
And who's now with Detroit? He might be still one of their favorites. I'll give you one in KC, Justin Ross. Justin Ross has incredible skill.
Mhm.
You may not know who he is, but they do. So every team has that guy on their roster, and it doesn't take anything away from Taylor Grimes. It's just kind of the way it is.
Right. And that's why teams sometimes will consciously say, okay, we're not going to show that player off, because they know that there's a decent chance that they can sneak that player through, because there's no shortage of quality wide receivers out there. It's not like QB. It's not like offensive tackle. There's a glut, right?
Mm-hmm.
The supply exceeds demand as far as receivers that can actually go out there and do something credible. I mean, with all due respect to Tim Patrick, that's why, okay, it hurts losing him, but you should be able to figure this out. A good coaching staff, a good team can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Last year they didn't, and I'll leave everyone to draw their own conclusions from that.
Yes, that is right. Orange and Blue today. We're presented by Sean Honda. Who's not? Hell, I don't know. What can we even say today? Like, that's the thing. Like, we can have daily segments, but when there's days when we can't say anything, like, who's hot? Who's not? No, but why don't we just do media members? Like, who's not?
Because
should I leave that one alone? I don't want to get in trouble again. I've gotten in trouble like 3 times over the last week.
Yeah, who's not?
I got a big mouth.
Why don't we just focus on kind of the broad picture of training camp and not just today? Because we haven't done one of these who's hot.
Right, who's not?
segment.
So who's not? Interior defensive line or offensive line? Like, the trenches have some concerns.
Yeah.
Depth concerns for me. I'm willing to give McGlinchey more time, and McGlinchey's going to do this. He's going to hold everybody. He's 6'9", okay? He's a tall tackle that doesn't bend at his knees. He's going to hold. Like, this is what you're getting, a mauler. And that's why, again, going back to the Russ thing, like, they got to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. And when they do run the ball, Russ will probably look a little different because he's not going to be doing everything that they're asking him to do right now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I'd say so. Even though you're seeing some holes from time to time, I mean, there's some good work going on from the offensive line, but there's a lot of pressure leaking. And I would say specifically, if I say not, it's on the edges, because on the edges is where most of the pressure is coming from. You're getting some pressure up the interior, but time and again, when we see things breaking down and Russell Wilson getting caught in the pocket, it's because the flanks are collapsing. So there we go. Yeah. Hot and not. You know.
And we're back.
Oh boy.
I feel like this is Jimmy Fallon's. I'm Jimmy Fallon. You're Ben Affleck. Like, the man in the box. Get back in that box.
Yeah.
Okay. Saturday Night Live reference.
I'm not a Jimmy Fallon fan.
I'm not either, but that bit. If you're a radio, because like for me, I'm not a Howard Stern fan, but I love the movie Private Parts, because if you're in radio, you just kind of get it.
WNBC.
Exactly.
WNBC.
Anytime I'm having a problem with the suits, I just think of WNBC. Hey, Cecil, could you make sure to say this way? WNBC. WNBC. I can get my coffee and gargle with it.
Oh, gosh. Oh, come on.
Yeah. That's what he did in the movie.
Oh,
WNBC.
Oh, yes.
There you go. We'll move on from that. You want to talk about Javonte playing in the preseason? We got Coach talking about it. Here's
Yeah.
Sean Payton on Javonte Williams. Yes, he will play in the preseason.
Yeah, he'll get reps. It may be we wait till week 2. We haven't gone through the outline of the plays yet, but I like how he's progressing.
That was the big news of the day right there, is Javonte playing in the preseason.
Why did it startle some people? Like some people, why is he playing in the? I'm like, he's good enough out there. He's cutting. He's running at full speed. Like he's cutting at full speed.
It startled some people because of how preseason football is portrayed today, right? And how teams manage it. Here you have a bunch of teams, including one that's going to come in at the end of the preseason to take on the Broncos, and that's the Los Angeles Rams. A bunch of teams just saying, we're not going to play our starters at all in the preseason. That's where the Broncos were last year, right? They played very few starters. Ironically, one of the few starters they played was Jonas Griffith, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he got hurt.
Yep.
So it's the current overarching environment where teams are holding players back in the preseason. And here are the Broncos, going the other way. As Huey Lewis sang in Hip to Be Square, those that were the farthest out have gone the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. The Broncos were one of the teams farthest out in the preseason, not playing any starters. And now here they are. They're not just going to play starters, but they're going to play a guy coming off of 2 torn ligaments just 10 months ago, right?
Right.
Hip to be square indeed.
Well, I mean, I wish we could tell you more today, but we really can't. We cannot.
We got more days like this too. So
yes,
just to warn you, like
yes,
all the days are open to the media, including the days when they're holding back.
Mm-hmm.
Although, again, I got to tell you, watching this practice season, I think this would have come across fine to the fans on the hillside.
I think
they were at a brisk enough tempo.
Yes. Yeah. We also would have had, listen, this rust thing is going to continue. Okay. And there were parts of practice that we can't talk to you about where I think fans would have responded positively to what they saw. Okay. So just get ready for it. If you guys are sick of it and it's August 3rd, I'm sorry, because this is what it's going to be. And for me, Mace, talk to me on September 3rd.
Okay.
I'm letting Russ do the work. Let Russ do the work. Let him get to running the flipping ball. And then, we'll see. On August 3rd, there are improvements that need to be made. I want to see if by September 3rd, some of those bad habits are gone.
Here's the deal with Russell Wilson. Whatever your notion was coming into today, positive or negative, it would have been confirmed by what you saw in the practice. Confirmed or perpetuated, right? I think that's the fairest way to describe what we saw today from Russell Wilson without diving into the details. If you thought he was having a great camp and is on the rise, you saw it. If you thought that he's having a frustrating camp and it looks like it's going to be 2022 redo, there was that. Whatever you were looking for, whatever you believed, it was there. It was like that was once.
It's like social networking.
Well, I was going to say,
I'm getting an echo chamber. Everybody agrees with me.
I didn't want to go the social networking. I was going to say it's like how London has been described. If whatever you're looking for, that you're going to find it. If you're looking for,
I thought that was New Orleans.
Maybe that, yeah. But I've heard I've heard that said of London. So,
well, we actually have film of a fan who snuck into practice and watched Russell Wilson. Here's what it looked like.
Yeah, kind of all over
girl.
the place.
I love Kombucha Girl. That's so funny. So awesome.
Yeah.
There's a series on, I think it's on Vice, where it's like I became a meme.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have sent you one, but I'll send you a link. Because she became a meme and she became like a YouTube internet celebrity type thing. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always afraid of having that happen to me from some reaction that I have on here, that takes off and becomes a meme.
Right. That guy's on that show as well. So
yeah.
The
guy that looks like Eddie Murphy.
Everyone thinks it's Eddie Murphy. It's
everybody
not Eddie Murphy.
thinks it's Eddie Murphy.
Nope. Not Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's the one, the clip of of the bearded outdoorsman, right?
Yeah.
It's from
Everyone
Jeremiah
thought
Johnson.
it
That's
was
Robert
Galifianakis.
Redford.
Yeah, everyone thought it was Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, and it's Robert Redford. No one realizes that's Redford. Hey.
There's only one VJ. Am I right, everybody? Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, there you go. VJ became a meme.
A meme, right?
There were, and think about what happened in the first 2 regular season weeks for Vance Joseph as a head coach back in 2017.
He became a meme twice.
He became a meme.
Having the time of his life.
Yes. Poor Sergio Dip. Yeah.
Oh,
Having the time of his life. And the thing is, that was nothing of Vance Joseph's own. It was just
some nerves.
It was a phrase. It was a guy that it was a reporter in his first time doing anything in that kind of spotlight. And also, don't forget with Sergio Dip and why everyone should have grace on that English isn't his first language, Spanish is.
Right.
So,
Speaking of which, I'm trying to get on with Univision.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I better brush up on my Spanish then. You probably heard me talking in Spanish today. It was a little rough around the edges. So got to work on that. Anyway, we got work to do. The Broncos have work to do. Mace, did you have anything else? Are we wrapping this thing?
Well, I'm going to cite a scene from Major League when Bob Uecker playing Harry Doyle turns to his partner Monty and is like, Monty, anything to add? And this is right before the 1-game playoff for the National League East. Monty, got anything to add? No. He's not the best color man in the league for nothing, folks.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely
One
love
of
it.
my favorite bit characters in any movie,
Mhm.
Monty the Color Man from Major League and Major League 2.
Yep.
In the second one, at one point, like Bob Uecker has his commentary and Monty says, I heard that. Dynamite drop in, Monty. That broadcast school is really paying off.
And it's those type of characters that can really stick. I've often said that, like in Wedding Crashers, the Will Ferrell with it almost nunchucked you, man. Ma, the Meatloaf, like he's in the movie for like 5 minutes.
He's in 2 scenes, right?
Then the
he's
funeral
in the house and he's at the funeral.
Yeah. And he's also
Meatloaf.
What is she doing? I never know what she's doing. I never know what Russell Wilson is doing. Anyway, that's a wrap. We'll be able to tell you more tomorrow because fans are out there tomorrow. And then Saturday, we have a special edition show as well, which will be from our home studios, right? Didn't we do that last Saturday? Home studios?
I think we did.
The days are running together. I apologize. People are calling me like, I'm sorry. I thought I don't have a life. It's training camp.
Well, today is the day we thought was going to be an off day.
I know. I set up 3 appointments today and I had to cancel them all.
I mean, you should see, I'm not going to show it on camera here. You should see the laundry pile I've got. I mean, this place is a mess right now.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. I actually have to have it cleaned up so it can be professionally cleaned on Monday. Yes, I'm one of those bougie people who has somebody clean their place.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Look at you, Andrew Mason.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to quote.
We need like the fancy, the fancy Grey Poupon commercial music, right? I mean, yeah, that's something I'm not willing to sacrifice on.
That's what you got to say to your cleaning person, though. What would you say you do here?
Oh, my cleaning.
You're cleaning before you clean it. It's like rinsing off stuff before you put it in the dishwasher.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's what the dishwasher's for.
That's just part of it. I mean, I just generally kind of pick up a lot of the clutter and all that.
You're just a nice guy. That's all it is.
No, well, I mean, it's a disaster right now. But the other thing is this: I am also in the process of doing a bit of purging of things that I own right now. I am.
If it's any comic books, let me know.
No, it's not. But like, I'm paring back. I have too many clothes. I mean, right now my closets, plural. Yes,
I heard that.
It's the equivalent of when George Costanza packed for a 2-day trip to California and he brought like 5 suitcases, and he explains to Jerry that he dresses based on mood. Well, like, I mean, yeah, I've got too many shirts. Cecil, I have 50 t-shirts. Why? How do I have 50 t-shirts? I've got, you know how many? I just bought 3 new pairs of shoes because.
Yeah, that pair of Jordans was pretty nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got a. Well, no, those Jordans that I wore were actually I bought them last year. They're still in circulation because I don't wear them every day. But yeah, I got 3 new pairs of shoes. So right now in this place alone, that takes the number of pairs of shoes I have to 24. That's too many. That's too dadgum many, and I don't wear most of them. So it's time for me to. I just gotta
Garage sale
purge.
at Mace's house.
Well, I mean, these shoes are worn out. I just can't throw anything away. I mean,
Okay.
basically, I think I'm a hoarder. Like I am the equivalent of when Homer Simpson hung onto a calendar from a past year and said, "Sure, it's not 1985 now, but who knows what the future can bring." So anyway,
And I will do what I promised. I will quote Half Baked and say either somebody needs to do their shirt laundry or somebody having a party. He's Andrew Mason. You follow him on Twitter at Mace Denver. I am at Cecil Lammey. We are orange and blue today. We are presented by Sean Ponda. We love you guys. Response to the show has been awesome. Hey, help us out to grow up to the YouTube channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. And even if you're in the chat room and you've chatted with us today, make sure to leave a comment because the chat comments don't count against the algorithm the way the comments do. So comment on this video, like this video, share, hit that notification bell, and help us grow this thing, man. We love the response. I might have heard we're the talk of the office, but either way, we just love it. We just want to talk about ball. We'll get a little silly with some Yoda quotes or whatever, but like we love you guys and we appreciate each and every one of you. He is Andrew Mason. I am Cecil Lammey. Be safe, be kind, know that you're appreciated. Stay tuned, and would you please stay frosty,